Hey there. Here's how to generate 100 plus qualified loan leads directly into your CRM every single week. This is for folks who run a business loan brokerage. If you are a direct business loan lender, you have a financial brokerage, this video is for you. If you don't know me, my name is Isaac Wood. I run lead generation programs. We run paid advertising to help business lenders and business loan brokers grow. And so this video is going to be talking about the systems and some of the insights that we've learned in working with businesses up to 80 plus salespeople every single day. Now, I have calls all the time with leaders of business loan brokerages, of direct lenders, and I start to see the same patterns over and over again. So this is the problem that nobody wants to admit. And this is from an actual conversation with a 20-year industry veteran that I had in the last week. And so he said, the companies that actually scale have systems that measure everything. These smaller operators always blame the lead. They never fix the actual problem. So what that means is, when you have a sales training issue or a consistency issue, or even just an inputs issue, you might think, hey, I need to cut my ad spend, right? You might have a landing page problem, meaning you have a conversion issue. People aren't going from your landing page and turning into a lead. You might just think, hey, we need to brute force this by hiring a new closer. Or you might have a follow-up problem. You're not consistently following up enough. You don't have enough marketing automation. You're not nurturing your leads well enough. You're not using your CRM well enough. You might just decide, hey, the lead source isn't working for us, and so we switch it up. Now, you'll never know what's really the problem if you don't have a system in place to understand what your benchmarks are, where you need to go, what you need to hit in order to achieve those goals. And so that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So some actual results from the system, like I mentioned, we're generating over 100 plus leads per week for our business loan leads clients. We're seeing a 4% plus funded rate. We're seeing average of around 55K loan size. That's a funded loan size. So that means like one of every 25 of our leads is actually turning into a funded deal. Now, from another client specifically, in working with us, we've increased their revenue 3.25 times. And so that means we have the same offer, they have the same team. We've just improved their marketing to increase that revenue. We've even decreased their overall cost per acquisition. And we use this system to help generate these specific results. So let's talk about it. The complete blueprint. Four keys within this blueprint. Each one has a distinct layer of the system with a specific job. If anyone is missing, then the entire thing leaks, no matter how good the other three are, right? Just think about it like a car. If you have a full car but doesn't have a steering wheel, you're not going to get anywhere. If your car doesn't have any tires, you're not going to get anywhere. That's basically the same thing as not having one of these core systems. First step, let's talk about financial modeling. So, you want to start with one question every single time you're thinking about doing any sort of advertising, any sort of outreach. You really want to understand what's the most or how much you can actually afford to spend to acquire a customer and still remain profitable. So, if you're within this KPI, if you're within this customer acquisition cost, then you can continue to scale and keep testing and keep growing. If you're outside of that KPI or you're cost of acquisition is too high. So it means like the amount of money that you're spending to acquire a customer is making your business unprofitable. Obviously, you're not going to have a business very long. So you can't scale your advertising budgets. So what you want to do is you want to fix your constraint before you spend another dollar. So an example that I like to use is, let's say you're generating a lead for $125. You have a 4% close rate on that lead, and assume you're collecting 5.5K on that initial funding, right? That means you're going to be profitable. Now, you have a $200 lead, you have the same close rate and the same cash collected, you're going to be break even or you're going to be not profitable in this specific scenario. So what do? You want to fix your lead cost. And so in doing that math, you're going to have a better idea of what you need to do and what you need to fix in order to create the system and create the model that's going to be generating profitability to your business. So the next step in any paid advertising is going to be creative and messaging. Across the board, 90% of your ad creative, that's going to be the actual advertisements that your end customer sees, are going to fail. So in most cases, most clients are seeing the success on the backs of a vast minority of their total advertising creative, right? So that's 2 to 5 ads will actually end up winning out of hundreds of tests. And so really in today's world, in post Andromeda world, specifically advertising on Meta, volume is the game. That means testing hundreds of different ads because like I said, the new Andromeda update, it will it really is demanding new ad creative. So another thing here too to consider is ads are your first filter. So specifically when you're doing direct response ads, you need to make sure that you're calling out your actual customers. This is going to be the bait that you're using in order to get your big fish, right? If you're using minnow bait, you're only going to be catching minnows. You need big whale bait if you want to actually catch whales. And so that's going to start ultimately with your messaging within your ads. So in terms of this, we want to think about quality over quantity. So you want to get some leads that actually close. Here's the reality, right? 90% are going to fail, 10% will change your business. And once you find something that works, you want to just keep iterating and testing further, right? You can't stop because ad creative will over time start to decrease in its effectiveness, meaning people will see it over and over again. And so that ad will no longer work. So you need to always be iterating, always be testing new to continue to maintain and improve your results. But here's the thing that separates getting actual results that close and turn into real revenue versus just flooding your pipeline with noise, right? Because any agency can generate 500 leads tomorrow, right? But 90% of those leads will be tire kickers who are never going to buy, people who don't answer the phone, who aren't qualified for you. So ultimately, volume without quality is really just wasted sales time. So the goal is not to get more leads, it's to get the most closable leads. And closable leads require intentional filtering at every single stage. So starting with your ad messaging, does it speak to people who will actually end up buying, or does it attract anybody with a pulse? Then you want to think about the qualification actually on your landing page. So they've clicked on your ad, they go to your landing page once they've clicked on that ad. You need to continue to filter out people who are good fits and aren't a bad fits. And so if you could get both of these things right, your pipeline will fill with people who are worth talking to, who are worth actually selling, nurturing, and actually trying to convert. You get it wrong, your sales team is going to be spending time and just wasting energy on people who are never going to close in the first place. So how do you know if you're even generating qualified leads in the first place, or even like what signals should you be looking for? That leads us to lead quality diagnostics. All right. Your leads don't qualify. If you're attracting low revenue businesses who are never a fit, you want to fix your ad messaging. You want to add qualification questions to your form. So if somebody can't answer those questions honestly, then they simply should not be booking a call with you, right? If nobody's answering the phone, leads are submitting to fake numbers or they're going cold. A really good thing to do here is requiring one-time passwords. So this is going to be verification of their mobile number. So in order for them to actually submit the lead, they need to get a code to their phone, and in that code, they'll then enter it into your lead form, ultimately ensuring that they do have access to your to the phone, and they can't just add in a random number, right? You also want to just add more qualifying questions. So you don't necessarily want to just add a million questions. You want to ask relevant questions because if they're irrelevant, your lead cost will go up and it's just going to cause you to have a bad time. Friction, though, is not the enemy. You want to include the right amount of friction. That's the key. This will filter out people who were never serious or were not qualified in the first place. Another thing to think about is if your leads are just shopping around, right? So no urgency, they're not making decisions, they're just collecting different quotes. You want to build that urgency into your messaging, right? Limited availability, specific funding windows, time sensitive terms that reward action today rather than next week, right? And we're talking about financial services here. We're typically thinking about using lead forms or generally quiz funnels. That friction will improve the lead quality. So you have 100 people landing on your page, 93 of those 100 will get removed based on their answers inside of your quiz or your lead form. So in all of these cases though that I've shared, the fix is upstream. So it's going to be in your ad, in your form, or in your messaging. It's not specifically going to be a sales team fix. This brings us to the next key because these fixes can be found inside the funnel. Three biggest levers for more leads, right? Better creative. You want to be testing ideally 100 plus creatives per month, but really just start with 20 or 30 different creatives. The winner is never going to be your first, right? Most people will test 5 ads. They'll wonder, hey, why is nothing working? Top performing campaigns are running 20 to 30 new creatives every single month. And so the algorithm just needs consistent, fresh, new inputs. And you'll start to see one, two, three of your ads start way outperforming the rest. End of the day, though, the more swings you get or the more new ad creative you incorporate into your campaign, the more chances of success you're going to have. Lever two, better offer, right? If you just say, hey, you want a free quote? Not necessarily going to be a good result. You want to lead with speed, certainty, and transparency instead. So every brokerage in your market is saying the same tired thing, right? The offers that actually stop the scroll are going to be specific and outcome driven, right? Funded in as little as 4 hours, same day decisions, transparent fees, fast cash for a certain situation. These aren't taglines. These are going to be direct answers to what your prospects are already asking for before they ever see your ad. Next lever here is application rate. So if under 10% clicks and actually complete your form, you want to remove more of that friction, right? So we mentioned earlier adding friction, meaning you want to have more questions, you want to be disqualifying people inside of your process. But key thing here is you want to be making sure that you're not losing too many people. So if it's below 10%, you're losing people who could ultimately be a good fit for you. So if you have too many fields, irrelevant questions, perhaps they're in the wrong order. So every single field that you cut is going to increase the conversions, right? So you want to find that fine line. It's a balance. And it's going to take some testing for you to get there, but ultimately, every unqualified completion will just make Meta find more unqualified people. Every single miss conversion you're getting is missed revenue. So again, you want to just be dialing that in and figuring out, okay, what are the questions that are absolutely necessary? In other words, what are the questions that your salespeople need in order to actually close the deal? And so the way that you're doing this is ultimately with your lead form quiz, your application. Sales process improvements is the next step here, right? So say you're cold traffic, so somebody just finds you from an ad, they have a problem they want it solved now. Their intent is real, but that warmth is not always there yet. And so treating them like a warm inbound referral is going to close your kill rates. And so many businesses struggle to close cold traffic because they have a warmth problem. So the way that you want to fix this, you can simulate a a full sales process as quickly as possible. So you want to be leveraging video assets to do that, right? YouTube, you can ideally YouTube long form. You can also use short form videos. You can build familiarity before the call. In terms of like just sharing case studies, sharing actual results, like I shared earlier in this video. If you have PDFs, you can use those as well. But basically, you just got to like share what is possible and you got to paint that picture very, very clearly for them. And then, using email sequences. So these are value dense email sequences, giving them specific answers to specific problems that they're likely having throughout their process. And so you want to send this to every single person where ultimately, if they just read the emails, they'll have every answer to every question they would have, leading to a much warmer sales call. Most sales calls will die when they are just info gathering calls. So the closer you can get to answering their key questions turns that sales call away from, hey, what do you do? How do you do it? What's your pricing? Who do you work for? To a fit based conversation. It's going to have a measurable impact in your close rate with your sales reps. So to actually create some sales assets, here's a quick action plan for you. Just take your last 30 sales recordings, you just pump them into your preferred AI tool. I like to use Claude, but you can use ChatGPT too. You want to find the common objections, the common misconceptions, typical questions that they have, and situations that they're in when they first reached out, right? What's their beginning state that they're trying to move away from? So every single asset that you build, you're specifically answering a question, a beginning state, you're crushing an objection, or answering a question, right? This is a real situation from a real buyer. If one person has faced this, it's likely many others within your target audience have faced it as well. Now, leads will show up already trusting you because you've already shared context. They've spent some time with you. Ideally, they've seen some videos from you and your team. And again, that call, it moves away from that hard pitch. It's moving more towards, hey, is this team a good fit for us? So here's the thing nobody tells you about. Everything that I just walked through, you can manage the ad accounts, you can test lots of creatives, you can optimize your landing page, you can run bi-weekly tests. It's a full-time job on top of running your business full-time, right? Most smart operators choose a different path. And so there are really two paths available to you. You could use shared leads, you can use other agencies, right? The first is going to be those shared lead platforms, people that sell the same lead to multiple businesses, typically four or five or even 10 other businesses. You're paying to compete with them. You're paying against other brokerages for that exact same lead at the exact same moment. And it becomes a race to the bottom. Response speed and price become your only differentiators. This isn't a system. It's really, again, it's a race to the bottom. Instead, you can rely on an exclusive partner that'll help you generate you qualified leads directly in your business, directly in your market for your specific offer. No competition, no bidding wars. These qualified leads are generated directly into your CRM in real time. These are ready to fund, expecting your call, right? That's what we do. We handle the ads, the landing pages, the follow up sequences. We send you ready to fund businesses, business owners. Now, if you want to know exactly what this looks like, you watch this video, it sounds interesting, but you want to know a little more detail, then click the link in the description below. We'll go through a free audit. So on that audit, we'll come in, we'll go through your current setup, we'll look at your biggest constraint, I'll show you exactly what we do and how we fix it, and then we'll go in the actual numbers. This isn't just like a strategy session that people want to say disguises a sales pitch. We'll tell you, hey, this is what I would do. And at the end of the call, if you actually want to work with us and you think it's a good fit, great, we can decide to work together. If we don't think we can help you, we'll just refer you to somewhere else. We only take on a small number of businesses at a time, right? Like I mentioned, we're working with uh, big businesses. We want to work with scaling businesses, people who have resources and are able to look at the numbers and are actively working to scale their business, not like beginners, people who don't have a business yet. So if this is something that you want, click the link in the description below. We'll hop on a call, we'll grab a time, you'll speak with me directly, we'll decide, hey, it's a good fit or not. Link is below. See you then.